sweep picking and finger picking. This is the CVT guitar lesson for Tim. Tim, this is really a custom job. You said these were two things that you were struggling with, man. So I put a lot of thought in this, man, and that was just something. We're going to start with the sweep picking. That's just the way I wrote it. And then we'll get into the finger picking. Okay, sweep picking is something that takes everybody a while to get, and it's really about technique. Once you get the technique down, you start applying it to other arpeggios and stuff, and it should come together. Okay, but you got to keep working on it. Now, the way I set up your tabs, we're just doing standard tuning, Tim. On this, you'll see number one, technique. Anywhere there's a down up is going to be on the high E string, but I want to get you comfortable with this part of sweep picking, because that's really, well, it's really both things that matter, but I want you to get used to the feel and the drag of a pick. So what I did on this, it's different than anything we've done. I went 3 strings, 4 strings, 5 strings, and 6 strings, and I want you just to mute. You're going to see X's in your tabs, and it could be anywhere, middle of the neck, you know, fret 7, 8, 9, you know. We just want this sound. And what I want you to do is start on the G, and make sure, you know, that everything's muted. But start on the G, and we're going to end up going down, 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 up. Put some distortion on. So once again, it might seem silly, but we're working on the feel of it. And I'm taking, you know, the pick. It's not, it's in between going and regular picking, okay? It's got to be separated, but where you can hear each thing still. So I'm going down, 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 up. You don't have to move your hand up and down. Just get your comfortable spot, rest it there, and look at the way my pick hand is working here. Down, 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 up. Okay, and what I did from there is I just built off of it. Then we'll go, because there's 3 string arpeggio sweeps, which we're going to get to when we get into the notes, where I just called it apply notes. 3 string, 4, 5, and 6, and then you can blend different shapes and stuff, but it's getting you used to that. So now just do the same thing, but start on the D string. Seems silly, huh? Put a little snap on the up. Okay, now start from the A string and do the same thing. High E string is always down up. You know, we may be doing a or oops. That's what we're gonna. That's what is going to help. And then low E all the way down. So. All right. Then, and you'll see above, circled 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay? Then what I want you to do, we're going to go back to the 3, but we're going to go on the high E string, we're still muting everything. We're going to go down and then 3 ups. I almost want to go back to clean for a second, because we want to get motions of ascending and descending with the sweeps. Now we'll do that again, but we're gonna sweep up to string 4, the D. I feel like you can hear it better on the distortion here. Now same thing to the A. The long ones, you're gonna have to drag your hand up a little bit, and then down, up, going all over the low E. Technique coming from this hand, okay? So now we get into notes here. And what I did was I'm doing an E major triad or a 3-string arpeggio, and followed by an E minor. So This is one of the first ones I learned, but 16G, 17B, 16G, 19 high E. We're going to apply what I just taught you. The very first thing we did today was, or in this lesson, we want to apply that over those notes. See, it's a timing issue of playing this technique like you did, but then landing these fingers with it. You don't want them to bleed through. You don't want to go. You can, but that's not, you want to be able to pick and choose. So you want to really keep everything in there, have that separation. There's our, see what I mean? Slow it down. Here's our distortion. At the end of the day, it's, so that's why that is so important. Then we're just going to go to a minor, and all you have to do is 16, 17, 15, 19. And I'm going to use, you know, pinky on the minor. First one was major. Second one was minor. Slow down. You can see I'm lifting a finger as I go. Index ends up doing the G and the high E. I've seen some people go like different fingers. That's fine too, but it's more commonly done like this, I believe. But those are minor, major, minor. All right, and then E major again, but we're going to do the down up technique on the high E. So it's going to be 19 on the down, up on 16, and then up on 17, 16, B and G. So that gives you same thing on the minor, 19 and 15. So major, minor. Alright, then, it's easy to get lost on these, let me see, because so much of them are the same. Okay, then, another thing you can do, I tried to build this to where you're getting to involve some techniques that are used a lot, like pull-offs. For example, in the E major, where you would go last three strings, 16, 17, 16, 19. So that's our down, 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 up. And then pulling off to the 16. That allows you a split second to set up for an upstroke on 17B and 16G. And what do you think's coming next? The minor. 16, 17, 15, 19. Alright, so from there, go back to E major using a hammer-on and a pull-off. This buys you a little more time on the high E string. Last three strings, 16, 17, 16. When you hit the 16 on the high E, hammer 19, pull off 16, upstroke 17, 16, B and G. That gives you, and you see that gives you a second, because of the technique, the hammer and pull, to make the adjustment to with your whole hand and your wrist to do the upstrokes. Same thing with the minor. And you know, this hand will serve, especially when you have distortion going on, as a mute on these strings to keep things clean. Let's move that onto clean. Okay. Then, from there, we are going to go, well, we're going to go to page 3. And this is ascending, descending pull-offs. And this has an extra string in it, so we're going to start building our sweeps or arpeggios to now 4 strings. Up until now they've all been 3, right? So this one would be 18 on the D, and the rest is the same. Oops, my bad. 18, 16, 17, 16, up on the 19 E, and then pull off. And then the rest is descending. 17, 16, 18. So downstrokes on the way down, upstrokes on the way up. The high E is where we're doing our little trick things. So that's a 4-string sweep. And that's an E major. So now from there we're going to go to E minor, and we're going to be playing the 17th fret middle finger on the D now instead of 18. Everything else is the same except the high E would be the 15th fret. So our minor third are those notes. So making that adjustment. The speed is the toughest part, really, and getting that technique, you know. So from there, so we did E major, E minor with the pull-offs on 4 strings, and then really the full one here is gonna be considered a 5-string E major, which would be an added 19th fret on the A string with the pinky. And then the rest, you know, 18, 16, 17, 16, our upstroke on 19, and then pull off, and then upstrokes to finish it out. 17, 16, 18, 19. So that's a full E. And sometimes I'll start them from the pull off, you know. Okay, then from there, as you guessed, the minor, which is going to be 19 as well, but a 17 on the D. So 19A, 17D, 16G. It's our minor third triad right there. Minor, major. So 19, 17, 16, 17, 15, 19 with an upstroke, pull off, and upstrokes descending. Let's try it on the clean for you. Let's try it again. When people double them, like they take a sweep, what they'll do is, watch. One thing they'll do is go up, down on the same note there, you know what I mean? So you'd have which I didn't write that, but that's one way you can loop it. From there, now I'm moving you to a different position out of these notes and to these. Because you can play different E majors and E minors up and down the neck, just like you can play a G chord here, here, all over the place, right? It's the same thing here. So this one is a 12th fret on the G, B, and E. We're going to take the index. The idea here is to avoid and separate it. So I'm going to shift and roll the index as I go. So when I'm done playing it, there's my shift, which gets it off the prior string to where I can pick the below one, and then I shift again. Down, 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 up. That up's on 15 high E. Which takes us back to the very first thing we did in this lesson, which was, let's try it with distortion. Slow it down. You can see I'm shifting that index. Okay, and now we're going to add it. That's a 3-string. We're going to add the 4-string to it, which is going to be 14th fret on the D string. Now we're doing 4 strings, the last 4, and then ending with an upstroke. But we got to go 14D and then finish it like you did the last one. So it's okay, and you just work on these in little groups like that, you know, over and over. Don't just go straight through like reading a book. Stick around on these playing for, you know, 3-5 minutes and move to the next one. Alright, to build it to a 5-string, all we gotta do is add a 14 again on the A string. But we gotta use that shift concept that I was telling you about with the index with the 3rd finger. So doing that twice with the shifts, or 2 different frettings. Okay, slow it down. Then, to make it a 6th string, you would add the 12th fret on the low E. The rest is the same. Which is, you know, when I was playing that at the beginning of this lesson, you're probably like, what is this? Nothing, right? But you can see what it turns into. I usually would do like a, or let's see. I like to add a hammer on a lot of times with those, but I think I got some of those in here too. Alright, so from there, E major now. So we're going to go 13G, 12B, shift to 12E, 16 high E.